ETs have a very important message to humans when it comes to the shifting of Earth to what we're calling 5D. And their message is very simple. We need humanity's help in order to accomplish the creation of the new Earth. So this was very interesting for me. This was a message that has just recently come to me. I had to take a day to process it. And it didn't come to me alone. It happened during the ET channeling and interdimensional communication Zoom workshop, which we do twice a month, the first and the third Sunday of every month. And those of you who were there, please put in the notes what you remember as to what the ETs said. It was quite possibly the most impactful message I've yet received in my communications with ETs. And the Zoom group started out interestingly. We got into a friendly discussion, debate over, what our role is in bringing the shift. And I've had a pretty consistent idea in my strategy, which is in the live guided interdimensional meditations that we do. Since the beginning, what I've done is I go out there and we chant the mantra and we blast Earth with these higher dimensional energies. And so that's what we've been doing, what I've been doing. That's been my focus for some time. And then when it became apparent to me that the solar flash was winding down, I mean, I don't know if it's over yet, but it's definitely has wound down. And then what became important for me was to bring more fifth dimensional energy. So making a portal to bring light beings down and focusing on creating the new Earth. That's what I've been focusing, and of course shifting myself up, shifting our frequency up. So we got into a very friendly discussion about what is our responsibility, and the idea came up that we needed to alter our approach so that more human beings could awaken. Because at the level of intensity of the 5D energy that we've been, blasting Earth with, it is extremely challenging for the average human. In fact, most humans will run the other direction. I've seen people do this. So we had a little bit of a discussion about it, and then we decided let's ask the light beings, because that's the whole point of this group, is to channel and communicate with light beings and work on that together. And it was very, very educational. So we did that. We created the interdimensional portal, and the light beings came down. And so then the messages that came through were very interesting. And in fact, before I get to the actual core of the message, I want to tell you that the level of power, something like broke. And in fact, when the message came through, it was a message that we had not been able to hear yet. I mean, speaking for myself, it was a message that I had not been, able to receive, really, because we were focused in other ways. But when the message came through, it was as if there was an impact wave. I felt like this huge wave of energy go into the Earth and into consciousness, and there was this huge release of energy. And it was almost like on the ethereal level, it looked like, like a bomb had gone off. There was just this huge wave of energy that went. That's how it felt. I've never felt my third eye expanded to that degree. It was actually kind of painful. So much energy was coming through my pineal that my human body almost couldn't handle it. So what was the message? Let's get into that message. And just what it did is it got us out of where we've been, which is we need help to shift, and we need help to shift Earth. And the assumption has been that the light beings have it all taken care of, that they know what's going on and we don't, and they've got all the power and we're just along for the ride. We're reaching up and climbing onto their bus and they're already headed towards it. And sort of like the Lord of the Ring elves, they're leaving Middle Earth, and we're going to, like Frodo, we're going to get on the ship and go with them. And we found out that's not what's happening. But now that we've made the connection and we've followed the protocol that was laid out, thousands of years ago, now they can finally be an equal partner with us in what's happening. So, what in fact was the message? All right, so the new 5D Earth has been birthed. It is in a higher dimensional plane right now. It's in swaddling clothes, and it's an infant, and it's growing. So this came out. I haven't made a video about it yet, but I will today. Hopefully, I'll get to it. But this came out in the most recent live guided meditation, where the Earth, our Mother Earth, gave birth to the new infant 5D Earth, and it was, very, very tender and very like a little baby. A lot of pink energy around it, very vulnerable and new. And it was taken by, in my mind, I even saw them with wings. It was taken by like these midwife beings that took the new baby Earth to her, like a little place where she could just, be safe and grow. And so all of the imagination that we've done, creating the 5D Earth, all of that now has been birthed. And so now things have to change a little bit. All right, so the new 5D Earth, this is what we learned, which was very mind-boggling. The new 5D Earth is not exclusively for humans, but for all light beings. So this came out in the communication that the light beings haven't been able to tell us this yet, because we've been focused on our own awakening, and we've been, our new 5D Earth, and we've been looking at it like, yeah, we're going to let the light beings come and hang out with us if they want. But they corrected us on that, and they said, you don't understand. The new 5D Earth is also for us, and we need it. We need it as much as you do, and we need you and your knowledge and your power and your frequency and your help in order for us to be able to even go there. But it is our new home also. So it's not just humans that are moving to a new Earth. It's our new home. This is going to be the new home of higher dimensional beings who are in their own evolutionary process. They are going to come to Earth as well. The new Earth. And so again, and they're not just coming as visitors, or how we've looked at it before, they're going to come and they're going to teach us and they're going to, and then they'll go back to their home. No, there's a designated number of them from many different civilizations and dimensions that they've got their ticket, and this is where they belong, and this is going to be their new home also. And so we now need to understand that in order for this to go in a proper direction. So light beings are not just helping us, they need 5D Earth also. Light beings cannot create 5D Earth alone, they need our help. So what was one of the most, and this was one of the hardest ones to remember. I mean, I've really tried to remember when that much energy is coming through me. I'm fully conscious, don't get me wrong. I'm not like I'm possessed like some channelers get and they don't remember what they said because somebody else was speaking through them. That's not what's happening with me. But I get to such a high frequency that not all of it, is retained in my lower frequency. But from what I can remember, what was most profound, like the energy that was being birthed into the consciousness of, our collective consciousness, was that they needed human beings' mastery. And it was, we've been out, it's almost like, our phone's been turned off for 13,000 years. We haven't been where we've been. Normally this has been this cooperation, and human beings, all the souls that come here to be humans, all of them are extremely advanced, very powerful, omnipotent creator beings. You can't end up on Earth, even if you're the biggest, quote, loser, homeless, drug addict loser. Think of the most unsuccessful human you can. Even those humans are, as a whole, more powerful and more evolved than the average light being. And I know that sounds very egotistical for us to say, because we have this belief that we're these tiny little nothing beings, and and the one part about that is true is that when we're in this lowest frequency, we've just come out of Kali Yuga a few hundred years ago, so we're still basically in a very low frequency state, and we don't remember who we are, and we don't have access to all of our huge, pre-Earth understanding. So for all intents and purposes, when a light being appears to us, an elf, an angel, a spirit, an ancestor, an avatar, whatever, we feel like these little tiny nothing beings, and that's the game that has to be played, and they know that because we're in a lower frequency, and so they play the role of, the archangel giving the... But the truth of the matter is that we are looked upon by them as the masters of the cosmos. We are the masters. Remember, we're in a video game, and the rules of the video game are that you have to squeeze down into a very small frequency. You don't get to remember who you are, and you have to battle all of the impulses that the lower frequencies are pressuring you to do, to get involved in all that little stuff. And part of that is the self-evaluation of feeling like a tiny little nothing. So they don't come here and talk you out of that. They never have. This is the first time in human history since the last golden age. This is the first time in human history that the light beings are like, okay, you guys need to wake up to who you are. You're the gods. We're here to serve you. We're not the angels telling you what to do. We're your helpers, and you guys are doing a very powerful project, and we're helping. They're now reawakening us to this fact. This is what I'm calling the 5D soul reintegration is all about. And again, it is so contrary to everything that we think, everything that religions have told us, because they were only there to help us in the delusion. And when you're talking to a crazy person, psychologists and psychiatrists know this. If you're talking to somebody who's psychotic, you don't try and talk them out of their delusion, because they will just become more defensive, and they will respond reactively, and you won't be able to help them. So the light beings come and they play the part of the superior angel, you're this genius, powerful being who's lost in a delusion, and so they don't try and talk you out of it. But now they need us to wake up. They can no longer co-sign us in our delusion. They need for us to wake up so that we can give them our expertise. And one of the biggest thing that came out is that they were missing their elder siblings' mastery of how to create. And they even said, this is more complicated than we anticipated. We didn't realize it was going to be this difficult. We need your help to make this work. That was very shocking to me. Yeah, for those of you that you were there, if you can remember the exact words, I wish I had recorded it. I think from now on I'm going to record these Zoom workshops, and then I will edit it and take out the messages and put it up to the channel, because it's just the messages are too important. At least this last one was. Absolutely. In fact, I had dreams the whole night where I was like sort of, like expanding, like it was weird. It was very strange. All right, let's keep going here. So the new Earth creation is more complex than light beings thought. Humans were originally meant to head up the 5D Earth creation. As I say this, I feel guilty saying it. It feels so blasphemous to say this. This is how I know it's the truth. Because, again, everything that the light beings tell us is going to be the complete opposite of what we think is true. Earth, the original Earth, 3D Earth and its lower frequencies, is a completely upside down, bizarro world. So religion tells you you're a tiny created being, you must bow before God, you are nothing, you are sinful, if you don't act perfectly, you get thrown into hell, the angels are above you. That's why religion says that, because that's the projection that human beings have. Now take that, flip it on its head, and that's the truth. So if you take the complete opposite of that, human beings are God. Human beings are the most powerful, creative, omnipotent deities in the entire existence. Human beings are the most advanced light beings in the entire multiverse. And all of the other light beings outside of our frequency who are in higher dimensions, they are actually our servants. They are here to learn from us and to help us. And now they need us to get out of our childishness and wake up. And now it's not even like wake up, it's good for you. It's like if you guys don't wake up, we're not going to get the advancement that our soul needs. It was human beings before they were incarnated, the souls that became human beings. They were the ones that decided how this whole thing was going to go. And originally, if we go back 13,000 years before the flood event and the fall, the human beings were the ones that were orchestrating the awakening event for not just Earth, but for the whole cosmos. Earth was the focal point. That's why all of the other galaxies and all the other civilizations are focused on what's happening on Earth right now, because Earth is going to be the next awakening project for all the civilizations. They are all waiting for this. And human beings were supposed to be the ones orchestrating it. We were doing that 13,000 years ago until the whole fall, all of that stuff happened. And then we went offline. and the light beings have been scrambling, trying to, help us, keep us from destroying ourselves. And now that we're starting to wake up again, now that the solar flash event is winding down, the awakening energy that's been given to Earth has been given. Earth has shifted and given birth to the new 5D Earth, which is still healing and making itself ready to be manifested for us. Now the light beings are like, okay guys, what's next? We thought we knew what was going on. We were going to take over the project for you. We can't do it. We don't know what's supposed to happen. We need your expertise. We need your experience more than ever. We need you to wake up. So let's keep going. What else? Okay, humans were originally meant to head up the 5D Earth creation. Light beings need the power of human imagination to finish 5D. So I was shown this early on. And actually this came up in the discussion, which was very helpful. But I was shown this early on. As you know, I was an idiot about all this. I did CE5 and some extremely powerful being showed up and touched me on the head and, cracked me open, and it almost killed me. It was such a bizarre, multidimensional awakening, and it happened so fast. They told me, very hard for me to believe, it's still hard to believe. By the way, I don't get any ego rush on any of this. There have been few people who have left comments basically saying that I'm deluded and I'm wrapped up in my ego and I'm full of myself. Trust me, I don't get any ego, anything out of this. It's embarrassing. I feel guilty even talking about it. But I'd be lying to you if I didn't tell you the truth. I tried to keep it secret for a couple of years, and I finally had to come out and say. But the level of power of awakening that I experienced from that mantis being who was initiating me and waking me up, I had no idea about any of this. I didn't know. I hadn't followed any of the New Age teachings about any of it. I didn't know anything about a solar flash or the event. 5D Earth I thought was ridiculous. I didn't know or believe in any of it. And when I was shown that there was going to be an awakening event on Earth, I asked what it was, and they told me it was going to be a series of solar waves that were going to hit Earth. And then I asked later, I said, well, when is this going to happen? Like everybody else, I was expecting it to come. Okay, I'm ready. Bring the drugs and let's go. I want to get off this, let's move. And so I went and I asked, I said, when is this going to happen? And the light being said, when you decide. I was like, okay, all right then. So I decided it's going to happen. Let's do it now. And I did that first. I don't even know where I got the idea to do it, but I thought, other people should do it with us. The being had already taught me the mantra. I didn't know what the mantra was for, the Huar mantra. I didn't know what that was for, but they had taught it to me. And so I was like, let's go play around with this stuff. So I told you guys, let's go do a live meditation. And we went into the sun and we chanted Huar and we sent energy to Earth. I didn't think anything of it. And then light beings showed up immediately after that meditation, beside themselves with joy. And they were thanking me. Now I understand why they were thanking me. They weren't just thanking me only because I was doing something to awaken myself, which they do. They love it when anybody awakens, and they love it for us. But it was also, they were, if you will, selfishly thanking me. And I'm like, I don't understand what I did. And they said, you have no idea what you just accomplished. You did it. You started it. It's all going to happen. And, and they were beside themselves. I'm still thinking I'm this little tiny nothing. I'm just a little nothing. And I went up and I meditated. And they were saying, no, you don't understand. You're the first. The first of what? I didn't know what they were talking about. Again, I don't say that out of any ego. Can you tell? I don't get any ego rush out of any of this. I'm just reporting to you what they said, and now it's making sense. So later on, the mantis being who was working with me back then, who I now know who he is. I wasn't sure who he is, but now I have a better idea of who he is. We'll talk about that some other time. But he said, I want to show you something. And I said, okay. He took me up to the sun. He said, watch this. And he went into the sun, just like we do, and he chanted the mantra and nothing happened. And then he came back out and he said, I can't do it. He said, only you can do it. This is your planet. You have the earth frequency. I don't. Only you have the power to create this shift, to release the energy from the sun. Only you, and meaning human beings. So that's, when I finally got up the chutzpah, it took me a while because these meditations just would floor me. Afterwards, I'd be unable to function afterwards, and it was frightening to me. And because I didn't realize at the time I was tapping into my much more higher dimensional omnipotent deity state that we all humans have. And so when we started doing it, right? And then all of a sudden everything started changing. You remember that? The world started shifting and all kinds of crazy things, and the government started shifting and changing around, and all kinds of things started happening. And they were saying, you did it. You beat them, you destroyed them. And I'm like, all I did was meditate. But now it's gotten to the point where now that we've finally gotten the earth, given the earth the power and the ability to give birth to the new 5D earth, which is, as I said, is off resting. She's just a little infant earth just resting and being taken care of. Now that that's happened, now we need to step up. The consciousness of Earth needs to step up. So the light beings are coming here. They are coming here more than they ever have. And they are extremely, extremely, extremely motivated to help human beings awaken to their higher dimensional nature. And so they're working overtime. Not only think about it. We already know this. If you're watching, in case you haven't, please go and go to Dr. Stephen Greer's websites and his movies and find out what is going on. The human beings, since the 1940s, have had the technology to shoot down extraterrestrial craft, and they've been taking ETs hostage, experimenting on them, reverse engineering. So ETs are still getting shot down to this day. Still. It's an ongoing war between humans and ETs. The question that I've asked is, why would they do that? Why would they make I thought they were, they're just so benevolent that they don't have any problems with getting shot down and being experimented on and killed, and that's not the case. As we found out in one of the most recent whistleblowers, when one of them was shot down, she was incredibly sad, like deeply, deeply, deeply saddened. She did not want to get shot down. She wasn't in a place of, it's okay, I don't mind. Why are they risking their lives to come to Earth and help awaken humans? Because think about it. Their new 5D Earth, which they need for their further awakening and enlightenment and evolution. They need it so badly, and human beings have been offline. They haven't been doing their part. Myself included, been completely, totally out of the loop. They have to come and they have to try and awaken us, and they have to take the risk of being shot down and killed. Because if they don't, they won't be able to evolve. It's that serious of a situation. So they need us. Our awakening is for their benefit. And I've intuited this, but not to this level. So when this information was given to me, it was absolutely hugely impactful. All right, new 5D Earth creates a fusion of 3D and 5D attributes. This is where it gets fun. So, human beings, it's obvious what we need. We are in this dense third-dimensional video game which has come to an end, and we need to go to a higher frequency where we have more access to the quantum state, we have more access to spirit, we're more connected to each other, that what we're calling it 5D. I'm not sure it's actually the fifth dimension, but who cares? Calling it 5D, if you want to call it the fifth density, I don't care. You can call it whatever you want. This higher frequency. And we need that because we need to be pulled out of this very, very difficult, I'm experiencing it today. Just the negative thoughts and the impulses that go through me just because I'm down here on Earth. It's really getting old. Really getting old. I'm so ready to be done with this. And so many people are they're just done with all of this 3D Earth stuff. So it's obvious we need to shift up, but what we don't realize is they need to shift down just a little bit, because they have been in such a higher frequencies for so long that it's getting boring. They're not learning as much. They need to shift down to something more physical. And they're going to want to have more of a physical body and more of a physical interaction. And the 5D Earth is like the perfect fusion. It's like the perfect drug. It's the perfect experience. It's the perfect vibration to completely be a physical, sensual being, and at the same time not have any of the negative side effects that come from being in a lower dimensional physical world. We'll have all the benefits of being able to shift up and down, and the veil being gone, and we'll be able to manifest our intentions without any hesitation. And for us, we will be just reveling in the beauty of the lightness of the spirit. And these beings who have been living in higher dimensional physical worlds, but higher dimensional worlds, they're going to get to come and merge with the earth. And one of the people in the Zoom group was saying that she could see that they were like touching the earth and smelling the earth and walking on the earth and feeling. And this is the new earth. They can't come to ours. It's too dense. And they've made it very clear that even if they wanted to come and physically be with us, it is such a harsh environment for their very sensitive frequency that it's toxic to them. It's like us if we had to walk into a room, that was filled with leaking radiation. It's toxic. We're designed for this. Our bodies are designed for this. We can handle it better. They can't. But now this new world is going to be a place, and it fills me with emotion thinking about it, where they can hold on to their higher frequency state of being and then be able to be more physical, be more sensual. And we get to stay who we are and shift up. They are going to need our expertise. They're going to need our experience. I've been saying this in the meditations, as I've been channeling them, where they've been saying, you humans, when you get to 5D, beings from other dimensions and other civilizations are going to come and sit at your feet. They're going to want to know your experience. And at the time, I was thinking they're just going to come and visit and leave. They're coming to stay. And they need us to teach them. we need them to teach us, higher dimensional stuff and higher dimensional technology, and they've got that down. That's the easy part for them. Just like for us, the easy part, oh yeah, this is how you deal with being a physical person. Yeah, I've done it for thousands of lifetimes. And we are going to teach them, and it's going to be this fusion, and it has to be a cooperation, or the whole thing won't work. So the new 5D Earth creates a fusion of 3D and 5D attributes. Light beings need the physicality of Earth. Humans need the ethereal. Without direct human cooperation, with light beings, the fifth dimensional Earth cannot be. Okay, I just said that. Okay, so there's the message. So I understand now. As time goes on, the absolutely unbelievable, deluded, narcissistic, grandiose message of me and my role is becoming more and more believable. And so, one of the things I have to do to grow up is to accept that. This is who I am. This is my job. This is and we all have our job, all of us. And we're all equal in that. I think that's incredibly important. And there will be people who have expertise in this area, and people have expertise in this area, and there will be people whose job it will be to oversee large projects, and then there will be people who they have a very small niche thing that they work on by themselves. And it's not about above and below. We're all doing this together, and we respect everybody's role. And so I now look back and realized how necessary it was for me to, even though I didn't know what the hell I was doing, to do what I was doing and to follow the suggestions and the directions that the light beings were guiding me on. And the most important thing, which makes it so difficult, is that nobody can be told what to do. Everything has to be our own organic choice coming from our own autonomy and our own free will. And I've seen people who haven't listened to the call, and I wonder what we're missing out on. Because very powerful people I've seen who say, I don't want to do that ET thing, even though ETs appear to them in their home. They're like, I don't want to do that. And I wonder what role in this shift has to get taken up by other beings. When they first came to me, and they started telling me all the grandiose things about who I was, and I didn't believe it. I took 2 weeks off, and I said, I don't want to, this is crazy. Light being showed up. I'll be forever grateful to this gentleman. The mantis being showed up, and he said, it's extremely important that you believe what we're telling you about who you are. You have to believe what we're telling you. There was a pleading and a desperation. And because I cared about him, because the connection was so deep, I just said, okay, I'll believe you. I don't understand it, but okay, if it's that important to you, I'll believe you. And things started changing from that point on. So I encourage you all to, in whatever way you can, get that 5D reintegration and believe what they tell you. And they're going to tell you really crazy things. They're going to tell you that you're a deity. They might even tell you you're the most powerful. They might tell you that you're Kali, or that you're Thor, or that you're Odin, or that you're Zeus, or Shiva, or Lakshmi, or they might come up with a deity you never heard of before. And you'll have to look it up and go, oh my God, I'm that deity? Don't try and figure out what that means. Are you just one projection of that deity, or are you the deity? None of that matters. Don't worry about that. And they're going to tell you things that you have abilities that sound fantastical and like child's fantasy. I'm thinking of one guy that was coming for a while. He stopped coming, but he was coming to one of the groups that we have. The light beings were telling him that he was this thunder god who was in control of all of the electromagnetic connections and webs between all of the realms. And and when I heard him, I say, oh yeah, because I was told just as grandiose things, but in my neck of the woods. And it was helpful to me because when I'm the only one that's being told, I'm this omnipotent God creating the world, that's a hard place to be when you're not looking for that. And then to hear that, other people have just as grandiose visions as they're reintegrating to their 5D self. And those of you out there, there's a lot of people, the groups are small right now. But if everybody that's been doing these practices and, those that have been working with me, if we all came together in a group and we all channeled them together, I'm telling you, the power would be off the charts. So I'm sending out a challenge to everybody to, if you're still trying to figure it out and you're wondering why and you're challenged between I need to have a 3D life and now it's time to it's just time to own up to who you are. And we need to come together and we need to work together, and however that is. So I'll do whatever I can to make that happen. The rest of my life is completely devoted 100% to channeling this 5D energy and to bring as many 5D beings onto Earth as is possible. There's nothing else I'm doing. And I encourage all of you to find out what your 5D mission is, and let's do it. Let's get this thing done. Not just for ourselves. All the other beings out there need us to wake up. If we don't wake up, they won't be able to have their evolution. So let's help ourselves, but let's help them also. They've been selflessly watching over this planet while we were offline. They were selflessly there helping us. And now it's our turn. We need to help them. Okay? So, that's my pithy message for today. All right, that's it, my friends. I love you all. Please be very good to yourselves. You guys know what to do. If you want a channeling, go to channel.thunderwizard.com. I've just uploaded the 4th video in the contact.thunderwizard.com, the Galactic Contact practical video 10-step course, learn how to communicate with and channel higher dimensional beings. And that can be found at contact.thunderwizard.com. Now, there are some things in that I haven't taught yet, but what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to distill all the most important information into one video course. So if you need to get, it's important to have the right assumptions and understandings about what's going on. This helps considerably. So this is, what this is all about. So that's contact.thunderwizard.com. And then we have channel.thunderwizard.com if you want to get a channeling there. I give you, you've seen the videos on the channel. For the 50% off, that's still going on, and that's if you allow me to videotape it and put it up on the channel. If you want a private reading, then you can pay full price. I'm going to introduce another service, which just came to me, and I realized this is a brilliant thing to do. I'm going to put it together today if I have time, and I'll put up the link for it. But to do a channeled astrology reading. So I'll do a Vedic reading, put your Vedic chart. If I've already done your chart, so much the better. Then what happens is we look at the chart and I let the light beings show you who you are based on your chart. I've gotten deep into my own chart. And remember what I said 3 years ago. Well, what happened to me 3 years ago, it took me a couple of years to tell you, but when I told you, okay, I'm telling you the truth, here's what the light being said. They told me that I was king of Earth, and I had been king of Earth, and I thought I was crazy. When I look at my chart, If you go and look at the ascendant, oh, this guy's king. This guy is the king who is connected to the light beings. And so that's what I've been playing out now as time has gone on. So you can find out who you are. Now, I may not be able to look at your chart and see that, but maybe a light being will be able to guide us towards what the chart is really saying. So that'll be something. And I want to do the same thing. I will, for half price, we will tape it because I want people to see the process. And if you don't want it public, you can pay the full price and we'll record it. You can have it for yourself. So that's what's coming. Anyway, things are getting very exciting right now. Now, also, we've got still thunderwizard.com. And if you want to go there, you get to that. You see the menu at the bottom there. Click on membership. People say, I don't know what to do, how to work through the site. Well, you click on membership, and then you'll see the various levels of subscription. Those are just 2 of them. All right? But if you also go back to the page, you'll see shop. And if you click on shop, you'll see the practices. If you just want to learn a video course, a practice, you know, the Qigong, the Mao Shan stuff, all kinds of things. Runes, just you can click on there. So this is, in my opinion, this is the place to go if you want the tools and the practices to shift your body up and be a part of this. I'm here for you. This is my entire life completely focused on helping everybody shift up to this new earth that we've just created. That's all, my friends. I love you all very much. Please be very good to yourselves. I will see you all very, very soon.